my real estate career, I was solely focused 100% on buyers. It did take me some time to get my first listing, but 100% of it was devoted to finding buyers. And buyers are the foundation of your real estate sales. That's why generating leads for people looking to purchase a home is so important. There's many different ways you can generate real estate buyer leads through paid services, or the best way is referrals and campaigns. So generating buyer leads is a single most effective way to sort of increase your business profits, and it doesn't have to be costly at all. So I'll be sharing with you some of the ways that I find my buyers. Let me get back. Let's see. So find the buyer. So one of the most me and Timothy, the one service that we use the most is Facebook. So you can actually generate a lot of leads through Facebook by targeted Facebook ads. So every post that we do boost it maybe around $50 to $100 each. Facebook makes it very easy to customize your audience section. You can subcategorize who you want to market each post to, such as age group, or to males or females only, or to the older groups. So it is a very, very good resource to sort of do marketing on Facebook. If you cover a suburban area, for example, your ads can target city dwellings for new parents who are ready for more space. The next one, I would say hold off on it until you sort of made it in real estate, which is becoming a Zillow Premier agent. I know there's only about 1 or 2 agents in the office that are Premier agents. I believe Gina and Amit are. And Zillow is the largest real estate marketplace on the internet. I believe Redfin is next, but Zillow is the most visited website for finding leads. Let's see. I know from talking to Gina, she told me that as a Premier agent, you'll be sole agent on any of your listings, and buyers will contact you directly instead of having Zillow send the leads over to a different agent. So you will be listed on the non-Premier agent listing in your area, providing visibility and prospective buyers for them to contact you. I do know that it does come at a price. It's not cheap, and there are a couple of dominating agents out there that sort of taken over the Bay Area already. So the next one is probably the most important one for me, which is to get personal with your database. So when you get to know your contacts, you become more than just a real estate agent. Every new connection, every handshake is a potential lead or a referral source. So treat each of them like you would if they were a friend or a client. Get to know them, congratulate them on milestones, and wish them a happy birthday. So constantly be in contact with them. Be genuine about making a connection, and they'll be less likely to forget about you when it's time to buy. The next one would be to educate first-time home buyers. I know there's a couple of agents in the office that has done this. I think Alice has. Alice, I think you have, right? Where you had a lender come in and you had a little session with first-time home buyers. Is that correct?
You mean like a workshop, seminar?
Yeah, like a workshop. Yeah, like a workshop.
I have not done it. I have my lender come in and talk, but it's not the seminar thing. Yeah.
Okay, how was that though? Did you get any leads and stuff on it?
I got leads from my lender, but it's just like buyer. Lender may not be loyal to you, so you just have to find somebody that you can work with, give them leads, and they will also give you leads.
Okay. So yeah, so you have to. There are a lot of first-time home buyers out there, so you have to educate them. So create the opportunities to educate them and interact with them in person. Experiences like these sort of give the potential buyers a chance to meet you in person. without pressure or obligation and see you as an expert in the field. By giving buyers a chance to get to know you in person, you increase odds of being hired or recommended. If everyone here knows me, I love to network. So I network with everybody. So whether you're an agent or one of the family friends or anybody, I network with. I talk to everyone. I'm a very approachable person. So I literally network with anybody. So don't be shy about telling everyone that you meet that you're in real estate. One thing that I've learned is you don't want to bombard your friends, constantly bringing up business and talking about real estate, because you could say that by doing your social media posts, so they'll know that way. But if you're hanging out with them and you're constantly bringing up about business and stuff, I think they will get annoyed. I'm pretty sure they get annoyed, because I do have a friend that does Transamerica or World Financial that sells insurance, and every time he's around us, all he does is try to sell us. And I see from my friends' faces that they already know what he does, so they do get annoyed sometimes when he does bring it up. So I suggest don't always bring it up. If it's your family, it's okay. But if you're with your friends, because your friends is your sort of sphere of influence, so you don't want to constantly keep bringing it up, and you will, trust me, you will annoy them. Buyer leads can come from anywhere. So include places you frequent, like the dry cleaners, the coffee shop, and the gym. I believe Rick picked up a client from the gym after I told him to market at the gym. I think so, right, Rick?
Yes, sir. I sure did. Yes, I did. That was wonderful.
And I think that was one of your listings. Is it a listing or a buyer?
That was a buyer. That was a
Oh,
buyer. Well, I pick up my clients at the gym on a regular basis. I'm still one of those guys that still networks. Well, the gym's been closed for a while, so it has not happened. But going back to the home buyers event, I've hosted a few home buyers events, and every time I host one, I always seem to get 2 or 3 different leads out of that. At least one of them close. So it's very, very effective, to say the least. And this is probably one of the best ways we can gather a lot of people in one setting and tap on some more shoulders and get people to work with you, which is just through some presentation.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Like I said, business can come from anywhere. So you do want to, remind people that you are in real estate. If you don't tell people that you sell real estate, they'll never tell you that they're looking for an agent. You don't need to hit them over the head with it, but find ways to sort of slip it into conversation that may refer business to you in the future. I have a personal client that I've been with him for about 3 years now, showing homes constantly, and I actually have not closed a home with him. But he sent me 3 other referrals that I've closed 3 of his friends' homes already, and yet I'm still working with him. So it does take time to mold for some clients. The next one is let's see, work your online network. When it comes to generating real estate buyer leads, nothing will work for you like your own network. Reach beyond the people you've met in person to all your connections online. There are usually hundreds of people that you may know on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. I know Alan Wang is heavily on LinkedIn, and he used to work at LinkedIn, so I can't blame him. But the majority of his business, I know for a fact, comes from him being at LinkedIn. And there are many other platforms, whether I know Instagram is coming up big, but a lot of people have been doing Facebook. I've been trying to focus a little more on Instagram, and I do have a couple of these. Majority of them are from my friends, but I'm starting to do some of the sponsored pays, and I'm going to see how that sort of pans out. But I do know a lot of millennials are transitioning from Facebook to Instagram now, so maybe going to Instagram might be a good transition for you guys and try it out. Regular updates about what you do. Also connect generally with people by commenting on their posts. Make sure you don't overwhelm your followers with too much content. Like I said, it's when you're with your friends, you don't want to constantly bring up that you're in real estate, because they already know what you do. So when they do need help, they're welcome to you, but you can remind them once in a while, but you don't want to bombard them. Um, let's see, and the next one would be to be a local expert. I think all of us strive to sort of try to dominate one area once we sell a property in that area. So, put yourself out there as the expert in your community or the community that you're selling at. You can blog about events, post videos, which are really popular now with videos of local attractions or YouTube channels, while making sure that you link everything back to your social media. So when buyers see consistent, you have to be consistent. So when buyers see consistent activity and closings, along with someone who knows and loves the area that they cover, they will reach out to you. So I've sold a lot. Last year I did about 7 homes in 95123, which is the South San Jose area, the Santa Teresa area. So I became that expert over there. So I do have this one other competitor. I don't want to bring up names, but I've trying to sort of dominate the area a little bit more. I used to do evergreens, and now I sort of transitioned a little bit to the South San Jose area now. So I'm going to try to sort of market a little more on that. Sending out flyers. Door knocking is no. I'm not sure when door knocking is going to come back. It used to be very, very effective for me, but now I'm not sure how things are going to be because of the coronavirus. So you just had to sort of think differently on things, on how to sort of generate a little bit more leads now.
Davis, can you share how you transitioned into becoming pretty dominant in that area? Did it just take one deal? But my guess is you did some circle prospecting. What do you think you did right? And you may have driven up the price a lot. So what did you do to be successful? Because 9 units in one territory.
7 units. 7 units.
That's still very, very good. So and you said you transitioned from being kind of a heavier weight in Evergreen to now that South San Jose market. So how'd you do that?
Well, it started with, actually, Melissa knows the story. So I made Melissa a co-listing agent for my listing that I had there. So I had her handle everything for me. But during that one first transaction I had there, which was a flip deal, I bought that a year prior to that, which was 2019. So closed the deal there. And then on 2020, that's when the beginning of the year, I listed the house. And Melissa did a lot of door knocking, so she got her name out there as well. So I let her handle everything, and I sort of stayed back. But during that time, I think it took me about 3 weeks to sell the house, and it was the neighborhood record high. So I did send out flyers and door knocked. Melissa door knocked a little bit, and then one of my clients that I ended up meeting at the open house, I ended up getting them another house right down the street, all cash offer. So I got that accepted, and then I started heavily mailing out in the area. So I got another person it was a flip house. So I ended up getting another client who the house was trash. So I ended up getting them. I got my investor in, bought them the place, flipped that house as well, and then sent out more flyers. So then all of a sudden, from one transaction led to multiple transactions. I think 3 of them was all cash from the flip. And then during that flip, I sort of met clients for the open houses as well. And one of the ones flip that I sold, the family had an agent already. So they ended up referring, I guess they weren't happy with their agent. So after we closed the deal, the family referred me. They referred me over to their family. So I got them another place, also in that location, right down the street. So having that said, I think it was within a 6 or 7 month span, I did about 7 transactions just in that area. I also focus on Evergreen as well. That's still my dominant area. But in the South San Jose, I think there's only 1 or 2 dominant agents there. But it's a really, really big. South San Jose is really, really big. It goes from Alberton to Santa Teresa to Bernal. So it's really big. So I'm trying to sort of get my foot into the door even a little bit more than before.
Nice. So but you never stopped sending out flyers. And did you use a mail house? Did you do door knocking?
everything was done the old-fashioned way. I went out, I bought stamps, printed out my own flyer. I didn't want to go with the traditional just click and ship online. So every piece I sort of worked on Michael Lewis, and every piece I actually put Melissa's face on there as well. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know Melissa there as well already. But it's been last year been very, very good for me in that area. So this year I'm trying to sort of continue on. So yeah.
There's a little bit of story there. Davis was incredibly generous and had invited Melissa to co-list, I believe, one of the properties, right? You had a co-listing together?
Yes, so she was new, and I believe she just got her license, I think a couple months prior. And she was super, super eager to learn, and she was at every single training, and she did not miss a single training, so that was a thumbs up for me already. So I had a talk with her, and it was my trusted clients that I've sold about 5 or 6 homes already. And I told her, okay, the best way to learn is firsthand experience. That was I went through that stage as well. So I put Melissa on the listing, and I let her handle everything from A through Z, as far as getting disclosures, talking to the agents, hosting open house, and everything was for her to sort of learn.
And she delivered big time. She worked very hard, but it was incredibly gracious and generous of you to do that for her and really give her a hands-on learning experience. I'm sure that was absolutely invaluable. And I think the way she returned that favor was a couple of years later, or a couple of years down the line, when she had a fantastic listing. And you brought your buyer forward, and she worked with you, and you actually closed that deal off market. So one amazing good deed turned into another, and that's the way, and to me, that's killer culture. That's our office culture, and that's the way life should be in general. So I just want to congratulate both of you. I think it was an absolute win-win, and just a great, great story.
Well, a note to Melissa, my client actually likes her better than me now. So.
Tell him to call me.
Yeah. She'll cut you in. She'll cut you in.
But since we have this note out there for the new agents, I do have a couple more listings coming up. One in Newark, I think Melissa knows. Some of you guys might know about, and I do have another one in East San Jose coming up. So whoever wants to learn, feel free to contact me. I'm more than welcome to sort of set you guys down the path like how I did with Melissa. And this is a very, very good opportunity. It's not an opportunity that sort of comes up every time. So, and I'm willing to sort of let you guys I mean, it's with how the market is going right now. I mean, you can close your eyes and the house will sell for $200,000 or asking. So we are in a sort of a different time frame right now. So it's but like I said, whoever wants to just learn, just let me know, message me, or just DM me. I'll be more than happy to sort of have you guys on the co-listing and have you guys learn. That's the best way to learn, is firsthand. If you guys never sold a home before, this is sort of your opportunity to sort of learn. And I'm more than welcome to have you guys, as a co-listing. No, free of charge.
Well, okay, so if the time that you took to book this training today and you showing up, if Davis's offer in itself did not bring you value, I honestly don't know what would. Davis, thank you.
Of course.
Not very many people stand up, and everybody will tell you what you should be doing, and there's others that will show you what you should be doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course. And honestly, like I put out there, everybody does business differently. So I do things a little differently as well. Sometimes, and I don't want to say this, but sometimes not by the book, but it's a good street way of learning. So it's like I said, whoever wants to learn, just let me know.
Fantastic, love it. Okay, everybody, don't miss that opportunity. Davis is your man. Go for it.
Yeah, just let me know if you guys have clients. I do, like I said, I do have a couple coming out. I'll be more than happy to share the address with you guys. You guys are more than happy to market it as your own listing. So you guys have the green light to do that.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I knew there
Oh
was.
no, it's okay. It's
There was a
okay.
backstory that I really wanted people to know and hear, because I just, it isn't often when someone was willing to do this for you. So the power of leverage through others is our greatest way to succeed in this life. But again, very few do it. So thank you, Davis, sincerely from the bottom of my heart. You willing to share at that deep and high level can make the difference in someone's career. And I know that it's helped Melissa, quite a bit. And that's why she returned that favor, a while back. And it's great. It's all a good news story.
Okay, let's see. So where
I
do
will
we
be
leave?
One
forever
question,
grateful,
please.
Davis.
There you go. I love it.
Well, it's just the beginning. So there's a lot more. I mean, like I'd rather have you learn new agents learn their mistake from me than having a lawsuit or something. Because there is a lot of stuff that goes on that new agents might not know about, and it's good to learn this way instead of learning on your own. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've made mistakes in the past, so I'd rather not see the agents make the same mistakes that I've sort of made.
It's hard practicing on clients, right? And when you get
It is.
putting your
It
first deal together, you're on pins and needles, and it adds to the stress level that you're already feeling that responsibility. So this is great. But Davis also saw skill in Melissa. He saw that Melissa was a social media influencer, and she really loved to be online, and she was hesitant to get out there and share the good word about real estate. So he saw a quality and value in her. And she was willing to put in the hard work too. I know she knocked on probably 500 doors in that Santa Teresa area.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I know she was wearing out the soles on her shoes.
Multiple times, same door multiple times. And that's actually where you got the biggest engagement. The first time was, like, okay, thanks, have a great day. By the third time I knocked on their door, they're outside talking to me and having conversation. So definitely have consistency with door knocking, and keep your face in their face.
There you go. Fantastic. Great teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, it does. So continuing, let's see, what slide am I on? So finding buyers.
One question. Sorry to
yes.
interrupt. Just one question I had. So
Who's this?
This is Vasu.
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry,
Vasu?
my video is not turning on for some reason.
No problem.
So you did mention one buyer for 3 years, right? So
Yes.
not going through with the transaction or closing the deal, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah. So I mean, the one
So,
that client that I have, they're ready to buy, but they're also hesitant. So you do have those clients like that. But they have. Because I've been so consistent with them. It's I don't turn. If they want to see a home, okay, I'm gonna go show them a home. Even though I know, okay, they might not like it, or they might not buy right away. But in return, during that process, I've already closed 3 of their friends' homes. So it's that process has sort of brought over. Like I said, you don't want to discourage them, and yeah, good things. Some things does take time to develop. So not every buyer walking through the door is boom right away. Okay, I'm gonna buy a house. Some takes time. Some is a week from now, a month from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So it's really hard to dictate.
So that's my question. So because halfway down, some of them just give up and say, this is not working out or something like that. So how does one strike a balance between staying consistently in the process while not overwhelming them?
Well, it just depends on, you look at the market right now. I guarantee you 50% of 50 to 70% of the buyers out there is sort of out of the budget because of the increase recently. So you don't want to discourage them. Okay, maybe talk about, how about moving further out a little bit? How about relocate? Are you okay with relocating to? One of my clients right now just relocated over to Rockland, and that's 2.5 hours away. Because the thing is, they can't buy anything here. I've shown them homes here, and they cannot afford it, and they're willing to sort of move past a little bit. So then they're moving their jobs over there. So you just got to draw up different scenarios for them. You don't want to discourage them and say, okay, you can't buy, so contact me when you're ready. You don't want to kick them to the curb, because once you do that, and they're gonna feel like, okay, they're in it for the money, they're not in it to show like you're you're concerned about them or looking out for them. So you never want to make them feel like, okay, you're just there for the money. You don't want them to feel like that. And like I said, it's some of the buyers will haggle you and make you show them homes every single week, but the end will eventually pay off. And like I said, it's you never want to ruin your image because let's say you kick them to the curb. Okay, they're going to say, hey, to their family or friends, hey, don't use this agent. They were showing me homes, and all of a sudden, he stopped showing me because I was asking for too much. So you don't want to sort of go down that path.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
But how do you find the balance, when people, still respect your time and value you and because, there are some buyers who just, play HDTV and just go see homes nonstop because it's fun. And they, I had buyers that we go to see homes that I know for a fact not going to work for them according to criteria that they mentioned many times. And they still want to see it just because we just want to see it. And
Well, I mean, it comes down to how you sort of feel them out. I mean, like you don't want them if they qualify for 800, you don't want them to see something for 1.1 because now all of a sudden they're what they want is 1.1 for 700,000, which is not going to work. So you sort of have to let them know that put your foot down. Sometimes you have to be mean and aggressive because that's what you are the expert in this. And in the past I've learned where okay, I know my clients can only afford up to 800 or 900. Back then that was a nice big house. Now it's if they go look at something for 1.2, 1.3, that's their expectation, and you don't want their expectation to be all the way right here, and what they can afford is only right here. So then every time they go look at a house now, they're going to be like, okay, you know what, I still want something like that. Then that's going to drag you down for like a couple of years down the line if the market tanks or the market drops, this and that. But you just have to give it to them and let them know that it's hey, let's get back down to reality. This is where we're at. This is what we're gonna look at. It's you want just let them know you don't want to discourage them because you want a 5-bedroom, 3,000 square feet, but you're not going to be able to afford that. It's okay for them to go look at it and maybe have ideas on how to update their home, what they can afford. But sometimes I'm very honest and blunt with my clients. Maybe that's why they like sometimes you don't want to sugarcoat things and overpromise things, and just be blunt. Just put your foot down. Say, hey, this is what we're gonna.
I am very blunt. Sometimes it's a problem that I'm blunt.
No, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, we're in the business to sort of not sugarcoat things, because if you sugarcoat things, that's going to lead to problems for you down the line. It's you said Anna said this thing, but she delivered this thing. So you don't want to. I never do that. I did that in the past. So I'm the hard way already. So it's. I'd rather be upfront. Everything is, hey, this is what you get. So if you want something nicer, okay, let's move to Sacramento, let's move to Oakland, or wherever it is that you can afford something that, but it's reality, so this is how it is.
My question is more about how you set the boundaries and also how you, because as you know, like it's challenging to work with buyers right now, right?
Yes,
and they did get discouraged as they keep seeing homes after 20, 30 homes, and their offers are not accepted and they get discouraged. So where is that limit where you say, okay, I think my time is more valuable, or they might be also working with other agent at the same time, and they going on realtor.com and scheduling appointments with everybody who's willing to show them homes.
I think if that's the case, then you're gonna
I don't know if that's the case. I have a situation where I don't know what's the case, where
Okay, well, if let's say you might have a feeling that they're with a different agent, which we're going to be covering later on, then maybe you have to make them sign a purchase agreement that they're going to work with you directly only. So that could be one scenario. Or two, it's as far as setting boundaries. It depends how busy you are. If you have 10 other clients or 5 other clients that are willing to buy right now, okay, maybe you give them pay a little more attention to the other ones. And these ones to say, hey, it's for this one that's been looking at homes for a year, to say, hey, you just let them know. It's like, hey, if there's an open house, I'll let you know. But if you have a team member, maybe you have a team member. I was like, hey, you might want to meet with one of my team members, and maybe work 50-50 with another agent on it. Pass it on and say, like, hey, someone in this office, hey, if you want to work with this buyer, it's if you can show homes and we close the deal, it's 50-50 down the line. So you can do it that way. So there's different ways for you to maybe get tired of them, so there's different ways you work around it. But you don't want to kick them to the curb as well.
No, yeah, I understand.
Even though you wait, sometimes they do. I mean, there are clients out there that will waste their time, but for me personally, I try not to, even though they waste my time. Okay, I'm gonna put up an hour for them. Show them a couple of homes, but I don't want my image to be tarnished as well. So.
Question, please. So how do we get them to sign? Because in this market, we really can't get them to sign that exclusive agency agreement, right? So especially when the market is this hard for buyers, they don't want to sign, and we just might end up in the situation Anna was referring to, where they are probably working with another agent for seeing homes and things like that.
And this is where it's a lot of people have mixed feelings about signing the agency. I mean, I think Hilda can jump in and say something about this, but for me, it's all about trust. So I base it on that. I got screwed over once only in my career, which I wish I would have signed a buyer agreement. But I think, as far as I know, there's a lot of clients out there that are not loyal. So I mean, that's just how I do it. But I try not to bring that up, unless I meet them at open house, but if it's like my family or my friend or someone close or a referral from someone that trusts it, okay, I'm not going to make them sign it, but I think, I don't know, it's a 50-50. I think Hilda, unless you can add something onto it. I mean, I personally have not, but I know there's agents out there that push them to sign. I don't want them to feel, sometimes I don't want clients to be bounded to me, but it's all on word, each other's trust. That's how I think.
Yeah, I can tell you, as a client, I was asked to sign agreement and I immediately did not want to work with that agent.
I'm going to be the advocate for the buyer broker agreement, because I think that unless you want to be spending your time spinning your wheels, going out and trying to show a buyer multiple properties, and they're turning around and doing the same thing with potentially 2 or 3 other agents, then you are just wasting your time. It's a big issue. In this particular market where inventory is so tight, you have to work so hard to get your client into a contract, and you're going to be dedicating a tremendous amount of your time. For those of you who were on the Ignite earlier this week with Leanna, she talked about transitioning in her business from being a buyer's agent to being a listing agent, just so that she could get some form of normalcy back into her life. Because as a listing agent, she was able to prepare and create a timeline for her transactions, and she could do most of that work within, a certain number of hours during the day, and she wasn't exhausting herself each and every weekend going out and showing buyers homes, or trying to get a PED sign at 8 or 9 o'clock at night so that you get into the last showing that's available. And also, many listing agents now are making sure that buyers are qualified. They don't even want them in the house or taking up a showing. If they only have 8 or 10 showings per weekend, they're asking for proof of funds. They're asking for, it's beyond just the qualification letter. So you really have to work to prepare your buyers for the experience. And I would say that if you have a buyer who's asking you to make a concession with your fee, then you better get that buyer broker agreement in exchange. Because if somebody's asking you to go and put in 100% of your effort, and asking you to do it at a reduced fee, and isn't willing to commit to you to working exclusively for them, then why would you want to work with them? That's what I would have to have you ask yourself. So think about it. You can work with clients who are in it 100% with you. And I think that you all will probably already know and have a good sense of where that client is at. Obviously, if they are a family member or, you know, they've been personally referred to you from another party, there's a likelihood that they're going to work with you. But if you have any doubt at all, and if you know, or you get a sense that this person is just trying to shop for the agent who's willing to do something for the lowest fee, then you really have to ask yourself, is my time best suited helping this particular set of buyers, or can I go out and work with 2 or 3 other buyers who have higher standards? I mean, it is, at the end of the day, it's your personal choice, but I'd like to see you get paid and for the work that you do. That's just my that's just my feeling.
Well, of course, you don't want to be wasting your time and
Yeah.
not get paid for it, you know. So it's like I said, you know, you have to sort of filter out your buyers and see where they're at. You know, are they approved yet? Have they gone through the process of getting pre-approved? So that would sort of, you know, get things to the next level. You know, it's hard to say for each client. So you just gotta have to, like I said, you know, just filter them out and sort of get to know them personally. And then you'll have a better idea on, okay, should I waste my time on them, or should I just focus on something else?
So at what point is appropriate to ask to sign the agreement? Like after a few showings or before the very, because I never asked any buyer to sign. And actually I got a great review from my very first client because I didn't ask them to sign. You can see it on the realtor.com. I didn't even know, but in their review, they mentioned that Anna didn't ask us to, you know, there was no obligation on our end, and she was still working with us. That's why we chose her. And that kind of,
if you're gonna ask them to do it, I would do it before you show them the first home, because you don't want to do it after you show them a home and it's like, okay, you know, maybe they'll feel like, okay, Anna felt, you know, they showed me home, but maybe she's not comfortable, or, you know, they don't trust us enough, so you're gonna make them sign the agreement. So I would probably do it prior to showing them any homes. And I think the agreement, I mean, personally, I have not read one, but I think there's a time. Hilda, is there a time frame that you put on it of that you're working with me for X amount of time, or is it just an agreement that you're working?
It's just an agreement that you're working together and have an exclusive, you know, relationship. But I think that what you need to do is let your buyers know what exactly they can expect from you in return, right? Like I was coaching one of the agents in the office. I said, in this particular market, you may not even have enough bandwidth to help, you know, 2 or 3 buyers if you're working with them and they're all trying to purchase by the end of the month. So you might need to bring in another agent from the office in to help you to go out and do showings. And people want to be compensated for even showing properties now. You know, I get people who ask me all the time, what is a reasonable amount to charge, or you know, so-and-so is charging me this, does that sound right? So, you know, you may need to have somebody assist you in the process just to find, you know, the right property for your buyer, and, you know, arrive at the right terms. Because, you know, as you heard also on this Zoom through Ignite, Alan Wang and others, $500,000 and $600,000 over list price, and they still didn't win the deal. That's tough. So we're, you know, we're in a serious market right now. It's heavily dominated by sellers. So, you know, buyers are tough, and I just don't want you to sell yourself short. Now, if you want to practice and you're, you know, getting your foot in the door and just wanting to learn, you know, how to go through the motions, then, you know, maybe you can be a little lax on that. But I think you're going to find your worth and know your value the more and more you do this business. And I think you'll, you know, start to figure out, okay, how can I introduce this, because I do want to get paid. But again, you have to know how to sell your value proposition and let the prospects know, I am going to be working, or I've made a decision in my business not to work with no more than, say, 5 buyers at the same time, so that I can deliver a very high level of service, because I have to be ultra competitive in the marketplace. And so I need you to, you know, be committed to that process also. And this is what we'll need, and be very clear that you don't take anybody out unless they've been pre-qualified. You have verification of funds, and you're ready to write offers. This isn't, unfortunately, a looky-loo market. Yeah, it just isn't. And most listing agents won't allow you to take one of their showing times unless you can prove or provide proof and evidence of, serious interest in the property.
And I know that I think this is true that if you show a client a house already, they say that they don't. If your client says that they don't have an agent to work with you, even without a form, and you go show them the home, and then they end up writing with different agents, I think you are still bounded for the commission. I believe Tam said that a while back. I think that's how it goes, right, Hilda? I think if you're the original listing agent, buying agent that showed the home, they are not allowed to write with a different agent.
You're
Right.
procuring cause.
Procuring cause, yes.
Yes. So, but I mean, like I said, maybe make them sign it before you show them the home. If it's something that you don't know, someone that you meet at open house, then yeah. But as far as a close friend, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, not a close friend. And again, if somebody's asking you to make a concession on your fee, and don't be surprised because it does happen even on the buy side. If somebody's asking you to make a concession on your fee, and you know how hard you're going to be working, then I think you have every right to ask for that buyer broker agreement to be signed. And then you're, mutually agreed to in writing on what the terms will be. And it doesn't become a topic of conversation after that. And you just have both settled on that arrangement, and it could make it a win-win for both parties.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So let's go back to the find buyers slides. So 89% of buyers purchase their home through a real estate agent. So 9 out of 10 people that's walking past you could be your next client. So like I said, don't ever be shy to let people know that you are in real estate. I know a couple of agents in our office constantly wear their real estate badge. I always wear my Keller Williams jacket every time I go out, and you'd be surprised. People don't ask you how the market is or this and that, and that could be your next potential client. 41% of buyers found their agent through referral friends or family. Like I said, it's always remind your family that you are in real estate, and they will send you the referrals. Family and friends wise, they know what you do, right, by your social media marketing. So you don't always have to bombard them with that. 75% of buyers interview only one real estate agent during the home search. So you have pretty much one chance to start make a good impression. Especially let's say during at open house. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take for them to sort of get back to reality about open house, but you do have that one chance only face to face with a client to sort of put on a good impression. And before the lockdown, I relied 90% of my clients, majority of it came from open house. So always make sure you dress properly, talk properly, and to help each client, because you never know each client. That home might not be for them, but you could be the next person to sort of take them on, to the next journey for the next home purchase. And right here it says 51% of buyers visited an open house as a way to search for homes. I'm not sure why it says 51%. I would say it's much higher than that. Majority of buyers who visit open house, one, either they're nosy neighbors, or two, they're a pretty solid buyer. Everyone that I've sort of connected at open house, I sort of put in my pipeline, and majority of them are solid buyers. I know with everything that's going on now, everyone has to sort of change their ways of marketing and finding new clients. So everyone, I think a lot of people especially I think it's a little harder for new agents to sort of have the opportunities to meet new clients, because it's much harder now. But it's majority of the people did rely on open house, especially in our office as well. So it was always open for new agents to do open houses there, and that was their main source. And so when that day comes back, it's hopefully soon, things will, get back to normal. So next thing would be cultivating your buyer leads. There's a saying in real estate: it's not dead until it's dead. The biggest mistake that real estate agents makes is giving up on their lead too early. Considering that it's dead on the road if the prospect isn't ready to take action right away. Let's see. The average home, I would say, search process for each client would take a couple weeks to 2 months or so, and it's not everyone that you meet is going to want to sort of buy right away. So you do have to nurture each client a little differently, getting them, the buyers and the sellers, to the closing table takes time. And lead nurturing is sort of a long-term game. If you're not sort of there for the long haul, your competitors, there's many agents out there, and they're willing to capture your leads. Sometimes personal still matters. Even in this digital age, the human touch does still matter. While a quick text message help reduce all important response times, it's still important that you communicate with your prospects. Your computer can't sit down and have coffee with someone, so it can't send a heartwarming note. Adding these types of human gestures into your strategy distinguishes you from other agents. So constantly remind them, maybe, things are open now, so maybe catch up, have a little formal catch up with your clients, into coffee and stuff. Response time is very crucial. One of the aspects of lead nurturing that is that you have to constantly work on your response time. I know right now, majority of people rather text than talk on the phone. Texting is sort of the new means of contact, honestly. I do have a client that I've dealt with for a year and a half. I sold a home, bought them a new home, which I will be selling the new home pretty soon. And they bought another home in Rockland. So he's a doctor. And honestly, during the year and a half that I've known them, I think I talked to them on the phone maybe twice or 3 times at most. A lot of it was either in person, or about 80% of it is through text. So you do have to respond as soon as possible. You don't want to, a lot of the new millennials nowadays, if you don't respond within like an hour, okay, they're gonna think that you're brushing them off. So it's try to keep the response time really crucial. Brand matters. The same, let's see, one of the generational reports also tells that home buyers and sellers are researching and finding their agents online nowadays. So they're looking at your websites, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook, anything that they can find to get a better idea of who you are and what your brand is. I'm an agent myself, so sometimes I actually search up my clients' Facebook and Instagram just to see how they are as a person as well. So then I know how to approach them. So don't think that the buyers is not going to do the same about you. They will go through your to see how your personal life is, if they can sort of work with you on a one-on-one basis. So always keep it fresh and consistent. It's also important to remember that your brand and reputation doesn't stop there. As a realtor, you need to turn yourself into an appealing brand, and that brand needs to reach far beyond a few social media pages. And the last one will probably be following up. Lead nurturing is a long-term game, and follow-up is no different. On average, I think most of us, we do about 1.5 to 2 calls, after the initial contact is made. So you have to do more than that, pretty much to sort of capture them. Don't forget about, you don't want to bombard them with, 5 or 6 calls and a whole bunch of messages. So you just be a little patient. Patience, and persistence and ongoing outreach will help you move your prospects forward from lead to client to close. And if we look at the slide is this, the one that for the smart plan. So that slide, so Timothy and I, we used to use Real Scout. So Real Scout is a website where we put all of our leads in there, and we put in what their criteria is, and when they're every time there's a new listing, everything sort of messages to them, and then I mean, we're transitioning over to Command now. What they offer for the smart plan in Command is that it's when the client wants to, they'll constantly get new updates on new listings that fits in their criteria, and when they're ready to see a home or they want to see a home, they'll click on I think one of the tabs on there. I'm not sure. I think there's a training on that soon, but they'll be able to contact you on exactly what listing you want to see and stuff. So try to add all your clients into the smart plan. So that makes things a lot easier for you to connect with your clients. And qualifying your buyer leads. So you should always separate your clients in A, B, and C categories. The most important ones, which are able, ready, and willing to purchase, those are the ones that you sort of want to focus on and put 100% of your time into them. Those are your clients that are pre-approved already, constantly looking at homes every week, possibly writing offers, and if they're constantly writing offers and you're losing, those are you want to stay focused on those and try to get them a home as soon as possible. Your next category would be the B category, which are able, ready, and maybe not purchased right now. Those clients are the ones that they know they can afford a home, but they went to go see a home, and maybe they're considering maybe a month down the line, or 2 months down the line, or maybe they've seen a home and they're ready to write offer, then they change their mind on it. So those are your B categories. So you want to focus on them, but not as much as A. Then you have the C category, which people are in the process of trying to get approved. Maybe it's a couple years down the line, maybe it's a year down the line. So you don't want to forget about those clients as well, because those C categories, I mean, they could be your good leads down the line. And for the buyer lead sheet page, I used to use this a lot when I did open house. It's pretty much it's a toolkit that sort of guided me through the buyer qualification. And you can download this on Command. So you always have your clients sort of fill it out, so then you know what the price point is, what the motivation on buying the home is. If it's they want to be moved closer to their parents, or they're moving closer to work. Another one would be the location, what their wants and needs are. You don't want to be taking out your clients to a home that has a pool when they request for no pool. You want to figure out what the timeline is, what the finances are, and the availability of everything sort of together. And this is the one where I think Anna had that question earlier about signing the buyer agreement. Like I said, I think this is, it's a 50-50 thing. You can, but it's like I say, if it's, I mean, I personally have not done it yet. So I rely a lot of my business on trust. So maybe I will do it soon in the future, but it's just something that I have not sort of touched base and really sort of pushed to do yet. But yeah, and I think I'm gonna wrap that up. And is there any questions that I can answer?
One question, please. So for
Yes.
the be able and ready, but not right now, what kind of strategy do we kind of tell them to keep them motivated to stay interested in the market movements and all, other than just looking at newsletters?
Well, I mean, if they're able, they're ready, but not right now. I mean, it's you can always show them. I mean, they might not be writing now, but if they see something that they really, really like and they have to have, I mean, that could sort of push them over the edge. Okay, no, we want this now. You know,
But they
so
also, sorry to interrupt, but they also don't want to get into this uber competitive situation. So if they're holding off, and I definitely know that that market is going to go up another 10% this year in that wait time. So how do I kind of convey that to them without
you're just gonna have to sort of give it to them and let them know how the market is gonna be. Hey, you know, if you don't want to buy now, okay, 6 months down the line, it might be even 10% higher. So one, you could say it's gonna be more expensive for you to buy, or two, maybe you buy now, you'll have that 10% equity that you gain from buying the house right now. So then there's different ways for you to sort of approach it and let them know. But at the same time, I mean, if they're not ready, they're not ready. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't want, I mean, we're not buying a car here. We're buying something on average of $1 million. I mean, starting off home right now is $1 million. You know, and you're getting like a three bedroom, 1 bath. You know, so they have to be physically ready. And like I said, you know, maybe they're not ready now, but you know, continue if they want to see a home. You know that they're qualified already. You know that they've got approved. So you know, it's just it takes that one home that they see that they really love, and it could be that deal.
Okay, I guess what I'm looking for is your insight on how you manage to balance that without being too pushy.
How do I balance it? I mean, I try not to say no. I'm a type of person that try not to say no to anything. So it's, I mean, like, you know, sometimes my schedule is hectic because I don't say no. So it's something I think I need to sort of work on. So it's, I mean, I don't know how to sort of. I don't know, Hilda. Can you jump in? I'll answer. But yeah, you know, it's like I say, you know, it's hard for me to say no sometimes, you know, and even though it's, you know, it might be overwhelming, you know, I try to sort of do the best I can with them. And you know, it's sometimes it is annoying, you know, but you know, I just suck it up, and it does pay off at the end. You know, hard work does pay off, and if you're not, I mean, like I said, you know, it's if you're working with a team, okay, maybe split up the showings, you know, and you know, maybe show them half the homes, and maybe your other agent show them the other half. But there's different ways around it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That helps.
Of course, thank you. So, any other questions?
Yeah, David, sir, Rick Baring.
What's up, Rick?
Question as far as any tips that you can share to us with regards to, aside from price, obviously, how are you able to have some of your buyers succeed in a multiple offer situation as far as bettering the offer? Obviously, a lot of people are, it comes down to is the bottom line price, but anything you care to share? And of course, aside from that, how long do you take the time to do consultation with your buyers?
I mean, especially right now, it's all about educating your clients. I mean, you heard what Hilda said. You know, is your clients ready to write 300, 400,000 over asking price? I just recently lost out a deal with Mountain View, and it was 420,000 over asking price. And to be able to sort of tell your clients, I mean, my clients had to talk to me for a couple of days and asking me, okay, why are we going so high? I mean, that's just how the market is right now. You know, so you have to really, really educate your buyers and let them know, hey, this is reality. This is how reality is. And we have to go this far to get it. So maybe you will have to lose one offer for them to sort of learn. At the same time, you need to be able to connect with the listing agent as well. Some agents, I mean, some of their clients, some of the listing agents' clients, it's sometimes not about money. You know, sometimes it's about, maybe they've been in the home for 30 years. They want to make sure they give the home to another person who's going to live there for another 30 years. So you have to connect with the agent directly as well. And I mean, some people say put a cover letter together, and some people say don't put a cover letter together. So that's up to you. I sometimes put a cover letter together, and I have won offers where my client is not the highest offer. I think Tim in our office recently got 2 in contract, and he was not the highest offer. So that comes down to how you sort of present yourself to the listing agent as well. So that's very, very important as well. And that's where the negotiating starts. And like I said, it's don't get discouraged because your client cannot go above and beyond. Always try to get your foot in the door, even though it might not work. You never know that. So write the offer, maybe put together a letter. I think there's rules against putting a letter together now, right, Hilda?
Yeah, it's strongly discouraged because some people believe that it creates bias in a transaction, and that some of it may be, racially motivated or racially profiling certain, groups and sectors. So it's very strongly discouraged now. CAR does not support it. NAR does not support it. They've come out in public with the media. I believe the Wall Street Journal just recently wrote an article on this. So when it becomes so widespread in terms of market knowledge, you can rest assured that the legal field is probably already searching for their first class action lawsuit. So be very, very guarded with that. Yeah. And I guess, was it Vasu that had the question about how do you keep buyers engaged if, they're getting nervous because they think the prices are going to go up another 10%, before year end?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is most certainly a challenge. And I think where you need to start with is that first consultation with your buyers and make sure that they are ready to perform in this type of environment. It definitely is not for the faint at heart at this moment. And to be honest, we've never seen anything like this. We've seen where, it's a strong seller's market, but never with this disparity. I mean, we're looking at the properties that are available for sale are 200 to 300% less than the demand. I mean, it's just, this has been at least unheard of in what I've seen in my career spanning more than 30 years. So these are unprecedented times, as they love to say. And we never thought, I'll be honest and say that when the day after the pandemic hit, we thought we were going to go into a major shift and that buying would be suspended, and it would really, readjust the marketplace. But the pandemic had an opposite effect. And now we sit in an environment where we don't believe that it will transition back 100%. In fact, there were several experts, because yesterday was the 1-year anniversary from when the CDC gave the first notice about coronavirus being in the US. And it started the lockdown process that has lasted, that lasted about a week after that before we were on complete shutdown. And so many experts are saying that they believe that we are going to go back and resume maybe a 70-30% lifestyle, and that many will continue to work from home because employers are seeing the great benefits. And that's why commercial real estate is getting just hammered. So I would be very serious, have a serious consultation with your clients. Where's their capital coming from? How far can they push? How far do they want to push? Because it's just because you have $1 million in stock in the bank doesn't mean that you may necessarily want to put that all at risk, because we know that what goes up fast can sometimes come down and readjust quickly as well. We're not going to see, at least we all believe that we won't see anything that happened or like happened in 2006 and 2008. And the reason why is because more Americans have 40% more equity than ever before. And part of that is appreciation, right? Because we've had these tremendous increases over the last 4 or 5 years. So, I call it the equivalent of the stock market. When your stocks go up really fast, was that really earned in, capital, or is it just the market that's driving the numbers up? So we have that. The one thing that we have going for ourselves is apparently 42% of Americans own their homes free and clear, which is great. It's good that America is reducing their debt and their liabilities. And that's happening across the board. It's happening across the board with bad debt too, because as we know, housing is good debt, credit cards, bad debt. And we just, no one can predict how long this, incredible bear market is going to continue. I do believe that we live in one of the best areas throughout the country. We have so many, we have intelligence here, we have employment opportunity, education, just a beautiful, beautiful environment if you'd like to hike and go out and do things in the outdoors. We have so much value here, so much culture, so much abundance of, different nationalities and the greatness that brings to our community. We've got a lot going for ourselves. And like, I give thanks each and every day that tech landed in our backyard, because Silicon Valley, it's the driver. It's what's bringing people here. Tech, innovation, constant jobs. It what draws the #1 candidates out of college to our amazing community, and they keep fostering this abundance. A lot of people complain and say, oh, I wish tech wasn't here, and it's just changed us completely. But the wealth that it's brought in that, and Keller Williams has a motto, and it's part of our bold laws, and it says, money is only good for what it can do, and or for the good that it can do. We can't give in abundance if we don't receive in abundance. So it's great to be with a company like Keller Williams, who believes in giving back and paying life forward on a constant basis, because that's what rounds us out and continues to give us our vibrancy in any life cycle. But in terms of talking to your clients, make sure that they're ready to play all in. You may need to have a serious conversation with them and say, if your price point is X, let's say your ceiling is 1.5 million. You may need to look at homes that are priced at $1.2 million, so that when you bid up, you can, actually get the deal at 1.5. And that's a really harsh conversation to have with people. I mean, if they don't know what's happening in the market, and I don't know, you'd probably have to be under a rock to not know what's happening, but it's hard to believe that people are paying, $250,000, $500,000 and up over asking just to get the deal. And that's where we're at. So somebody who was looking at a small starter home might have to be a little bit more conservative, or look in a different zip code, a different area. Maybe, if you don't need those high scoring schools, say you're an empty nester, or you're not starting your path with children yet, you might be able to move over one zip code and be in a better offer environment. So it really depends what your client's needs are. And people who want the schools because they having children, they're willing to pay any amount of money to get in there. That's just what we've experienced. So it's tough, and I know how tough it is. And so that's why we celebrate the big wins. Davis was talking a little earlier before the Zoom started that he recently closed a really hard deal. I had a really, hard time with these buyers, and he was finally able to get them in and over. And so, there was a big celebration. But when do you really hear, about so many buyer struggles? It's just, really uncommon. So hang in there, keep your clients happy, make sure that you've got them on autoresponders, that they're getting alerts from MLS on anything and everything. Leanna shared that with us, expired, just listed, whatever, anything that comes in the area that they're looking for, and then maybe even a surrounding area. I would start thinking a little bit bigger and broader in terms of those goals, just as a, what if a nice property just happens to pop in, on the other side of the tracks? Would you consider looking at that? Because that's where we're at.
And yet they had to go all out on it, because there is only one property, and you do have 100 people trying to get it in as well. So if they see, you have to sort of not just educate your client, but also you have to educate yourself as well on, okay, this is what I need to do to get my clients in. It's not always about explaining things to your client. So you sort of need to understand things for yourself as well to know, okay, I know this is going to sell for 1.5, but it's listed for 1.1. So how am I going to explain things to my client? And you have to sort of be able to, I mean, like I said, I lost one. I mean, it was listed by the De Leon team, so I went 420,000 over asking. And my client at first thought I was crazy. So then they had to talk, they called my they call the person that referred me over and they talk to them and they're like, hey, are you sure this guy is like, reliable and solid? Because he's telling me to go 420,000 over asking, and like after 2 days or so, I was talking to them. They finally agreed after I showed them this and that, and we still lost the deal. So we weren't even in the top 5. So
You weren't even in the top 5? Oh my
I wasn't
God.
even on the top 5. It's a daily owned team, so they have their ways.
On that note, can I ask another question? It's about the same buyer. So the buyer knew exactly what's going on in the market. We saw how it's this bidding war and everything. Nevertheless, they demanded that I write an offer for asking price, which was complete waste of time. But they said, well, we just give it a shot. If we get it, we get it. But it was absolutely clear that it was a waste of time. So how do you handle this?
Well, this is what you do. It's let them learn the hard way. Write the offer and a screenshot what the agent said, because I'm pretty sure he's probably say something nasty. Hey, it's way above this and that. So you let them know, hey, this is what I told you, and this is how we will be expecting. I mean, on the next offer, they'll listen to you a little more. So that's what I had to do with some of my clients. They might not listen to you for the first time. They might think you're crazy. But you have to let them learn their lesson, and then they'll understand the next one. Okay, you know what? The last one we lost by a mile. So maybe they're willing to step up to here now, and then maybe it takes a couple of times. So it does. Not everything happens on the first offer, so you will lose the offer. Sometimes it's good that they lose the first offer. So then the next one, okay, they're gonna go all out on it, not going to play the little chicken game.
Was that Vasu who asked that question?
Anna.
Oh, Anna. Okay, Anna, I want just to share with you a story. We had an agent who is now, by the way, a phenomenal top producer, and he's in his 2nd year in the business. His 1st year in the business, he didn't close anything, not one single deal. I asked him, I had a consultation with him and said, okay, we need to change this. What's going on? Tell me I need to ask you some questions so I can figure out where the gap is, because he was doing everything correctly. He was doing open houses 4 days a week. He'd start with the preemptive open house on Thursday, work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Think he wrote over 50 offers in a year and not one got accepted. So I said, tell me the profile of your buyers. He was working with buyers. I said, tell me the profile of your buyers. 5 minutes into that conversation, and I had to tell him to go out and fire every one of the people he was working with and find new clients. And I explained to him why. He was making low offers in a very competitive seller's market. And so he was never going to get those deals accepted. He was dealing with investors who were looking for really bottom barrel deals. And those are the type of deals that are made off market. Typically, they're made off market because usually they're distressed properties or they're properties with a lot of deferred maintenance. And they're not typically on the MLS. As you've noticed, a lot of the people or a lot of the Gen Xers like turnkey properties. That's why we see so many flippers that are making money like crazy, because they don't have time to put in the work, and they don't have the skills or the knowledge to. So they don't make any claims to be, builders or developers or rehabbers. They just want a nice house that they can raise their family. So when that agent, he took what I said to heart. Thank goodness. I told him, I said, go back and look at your database and see if you can find at least 2 couples that you met at an open house lately that mentioned that they were either displeased with their agent or didn't have one, and see if you can meet with them. Within 30 days, he'd closed 2 escrows, and he's never looked back. And now he is a top producer in our market center, already capped and well beyond that. And he had to come to terms with himself because he was working with the wrong clients. And so he wasn't getting paid, and he was just exhausting himself. And now he's probably, one of the highest producing agents in the office, happier in the clam, and you know, grinning from ear to ear because people enjoy being successful. Nobody likes failing. And we've seen a complete turnaround. Yeah, right. I mean, it's just human nature. Everybody likes to succeed and everybody likes to work with people who are happy and accomplishing their goals. So be careful. Don't sell yourself short. Find clients that are interested in purchasing, even if it's, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 months from now, but are realistic, have the funds available, are willing to put in the time and respect you as a professional, and you'll work hard for them and you will succeed.
Thank you, Hilda.
And I think a lot of
You're welcome.
agents, they get the wrong idea where, yes, you know, agents do make good money, but it doesn't come easily as well.
Oh, I
It
You know,
doesn't.
so
already figured that out.
yeah, so you that's just, I mean, I think the number is within a year, 60 or 70% of agents don't make it, right, Hilda? So it's, you have to be consistent. You have to put the, I mean, it might not work for you the first year, but as long as you're consistent, I mean, like I had agents under my wing where they did not close a single thing, like Hilda's story, but then afterwards, it's sort of like a domino effect where, okay, the first one goes in, then the second one, third, fourth, fifth. So everything sort of happens as a domino. So as long as you're consistent.
I'm on
don't
my
give up.
second deal now, and I got in contract with my first one within 30 days after, you know, starting. And my offer wasn't the highest. My offer was just a good offer, clean
There you
and
go.
no contingencies. And that was the game where we had to put first one at asking price, and they lost 150 grand. And next one, they went all the way in. My problem right now, and I'm working with another, those are up city leads. My problem right now is finding qualified leads because many agents that I spoke with, you know, succeeded by doing open houses, and that's where they found their first deals. And this is where I feel like I would be really good at, because I'm really good at, you know, personal contact, face to face with people. And right now, this is the biggest challenge. So I don't hear anyone talking about cold calling in KW. I work my sphere, but it's not working right now with my sphere as much because my sphere is not really, you know, ready right now. So
Yeah, and like I said, you know, a lot of people did rely on open house back then. I mean, I truly relied on open house as well because those are your solid leads. You know, and people get to see you in person. So now, because of everything that has happened, so you're gonna have to sort of shift your way on how you do business now. So maybe another way for you to find business is, you know, you got your buyers into contract for the 2 that you have right now. So maybe send out a quote card or email saying, hey, you know, I have another client that's looking to move into the neighborhood, but there's nothing for sale. So maybe that's a way for you to get get a listing in the area, telling them that, hey, I have
honestly,
buyers.
those are 2 areas where I don't want to go and look for clients.
Well, you have to get your name out there somehow as well, you know. So it's like I say, you know, don't be shy about putting yourself out there. You know, it's eventually, if you want to be the area specialist, okay, you have to get yourself out there. People need to see you. You have to be consistent because it's not just, okay, I'm going to close one deal there, everyone is going to call me. So I'm pretty sure where you live, there's agents that constantly send you mail and mailers.
I'm already, my farm is set up. I'm going to start farming. I set up my farm already.
Just keep at it. Just don't give up. Like I said, you know, don't be discouraged if you don't see anything happening right away. Everything does take time to sort of, you know, nurture, and eventually it'll come together.
Yeah.
Anna, do you speak a second language?
I speak 3 languages.
Oh my goodness, you're a rock star. So do you use any apps like WhatsApp and WeChat or any?
Yes.
Okay. There are a lot of amazing groups in those apps that are really ultra focused and very interested in real estate. I know that there are agents who have built their entire careers and their sphere of influence through groups online. You'd really be surprised and shocked. So I just want to encourage you to consider those outlets as another opportunity.
Okay.
Because social media and online connectivity are really high. In fact, I believe Google said that buyers give credit to social media for 65% of the referrals that they have received or given out on the buy side come from social media, from taking in the word of their sphere of influence and who they're using in the real estate transactions. So, social media is a pretty big deal, but if you feel more comfortable, and you have the gift of a second language, then I would definitely try some of those apps.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Davis would like to introduce his new son. Look at that.
Oh my God, it's so cute.
Adorable.
Oh my God.
That's roly poly.
That's
Just
really
joined the team.
Yep.
How cute,
Yeah.
but adorable.
Anyone else have any questions for Davis?
I'll put my phone number in the chat. So if you guys have questions or anything in the future, just shoot me a text or give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out.
Awesome. Thank you, Davis, for a wonderful, wonderful session this morning. Really appreciate everything that you've shared and all the value that you gave this morning from your personal experience, and for, reaching out to folks and saying if they want to learn hands-on, you're willing to give them a hand and help them out.
That's the best way to learn.
It doesn't get any better than that. All right. Thank you, Davis. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And this was
Thank you,
great.
Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see here. I need to share my screen so that we can move on.
Also, I think it's the little experiences from the speakers and other team members here that I think will prepare me better for my own transactions and interactions with clients.
Wonderful. So happy to hear that. Anyone else with the big aha? Don't be shy. Just unmute yourself and feel free to share.
One thing that I wanted to share throughout my experience, and this goes, in my personal life and in my career life, is it's not what you say, it's how you say it, I think. And that really resonated with me, whether it's tough news or good news, but it's really just how you say it and how it's received.
Totally respect that and believe in it wholeheartedly, Nancy. Thank you for making that observation. There's always a good way and a poor way to communicate. In fact, there's some really great books, and there's one, I think it's 7 Levels of Communication, that I would highly recommend for real estate agents. Communication is really what will set you apart in terms of your high-level consultancy. And, whenever, they say if you've got to give somebody some bad news, that you want to come from a point of solution, right? Here is the problem, but I've already worked on, the solution or the answer for you, if this meets your needs. Or if you tell me your needs have changed, how can we re-examine this, and how can I bring contribution back into your current, situation? And that would really be applicable if you're working with buyers right now. You got to stay just as committed to the process as they are. If they're putting in all of their blood, sweat, and tears, then you've got to deliver, to the market of the current moment. So I agree that's really a great comment. Anyone else? What are some of your big takeaways in terms of, Ignite overall? What do you think the goal was behind these courses? Has anybody here taken Bold before?
I have.
You have? Do you know what Bold focuses on about 90% of the time? It's it's mindset. It is mindset. Every morning we have to wake up with the mindset that we are going to conquer this day. We have already planned in advance. We know what we have to do, and we have to have the clarity in our minds to achieve our goals. So I believe that each one of these Ignites talks about, the activities that we have to do to be successful, the activities. And another thing is the accountability. You have to be accountable to someone, and it starts with ourselves, correct? If we can't improve ourselves, we can't be of much value to anybody else. So we have to start by being accountable to ourselves. The people who rely on us, the people who are our big why. Now Davis has a new pup that he's got to buy kibble for, so and take to the vet. So that's another addition to his fur family there that are going to be looking up to him every day, saying, how are you going to feed me? So again, we have to have a strong mindset. This is a tough job, but with a great mindset and clarity and setting your goals and knowing what you need to do, having a daily plan, it's really, really going to help you. So I'm hoping that you're taking that away from all of this. It's wonderful to learn from the top producers, but if you really examine what they're doing correctly, is their minds are very powerful. Their daily activities, they don't let anything come, between what they have to accomplish that day, and their lead generation and prospecting. Right now, because we are in a shifting market, Keller Williams recommends that you prospect at least 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day of prospecting, followed by an hour of follow-up on the previous prospecting that you've already done. So that's at least 40% of your day that is focused on lead generation, because there's nothing that will change your business more than having an abundance number of leads in your pipeline. If you only have a couple of people that you're working with and a couple of prospects, then it's very difficult to predict what your income will be, and then you're always forced to stay working in situations that may not be optimal for yourself. So keep that in mind, and let's move forward here. Okay, so here we go in terms of the recap. How has your thinking changed, and what ideas or new mindsets do you have? Anybody want to share? Let's hear, Melissa, I think you've taken some, enough classes now. How do these, and you've made comments about the training and how good it is. How does this help keep you on track?
Hi, Hilda. I love Ignite. Bold is really wonderful, like you said, for mindset, accountability, working in a team. And it really kind of gets you ramped up to really put in the time on those contacts. Ignite, for me, is more the fundamentals of running the business. And every time I think this is my third Ignite. And every time I feel like I learn something new, even though we go over the same material, hearing from these amazing, successful agents, I'm getting a little feedback, sorry. Is that from me? Hearing from these amazing and successful agents is motivating, it's inspiring, and I'm really grateful that we have this.
Awesome, great to hear, and thank you for sharing. And in terms of mindset, it's motivating, it's inspiring. Do you have a list that you're now starting to accumulate of nuggets that you want to implement in your business?
Yes, actually, my first Ignite, I attempted the 411 and the GPS and all of those things and found myself to just be kind of messy with it. The second time I started to kind of get my head wrapped around it. Now I have a full-blown system in place from this last Ignite, and from the business planning clinic. I took those two things and combined them together. And I would be happy to share that with anyone who's interested.
Thank you. That's fantastic. We appreciate that. That's fantastic. Okay, let's hear. This certainly has inspired, the conversations that we have evoked some emotion, right? Because everybody's going through the same struggles. I think we've heard from a few agents making comments about, it's nice to know I'm not alone and that I have support in, my learning and my professional development. So I certainly hope that you all feel that way. I think that's what differentiates Keller Williams and really makes us that culture company. And I hope that, what you've learned in the last 2 weeks, there's something there that's evoked some emotion that says, okay, I know what to do now, or I know where to get started. So our goal through these trainings is to make sure that we're filling in any gaps that you have and any needs that you have in terms of training, education, knowledge. And I agree with you, Melissa, the fact that, Ignite is more of a hands-on learning from the minds of the masters, right? The top agents that are teaching these classes give us a lot of personal experience that you can't find in any book. So hope that is good.
I just want to add as well. I know it seems like a lot and it's very, very overwhelming. This, like I said, this is my third Ignite, and I've done both 2 times in person and 1 time the online format. And it's overwhelming. And one of the things they talked about in Bold is sometimes you're going to feel like you're having a breakdown, which is the next step to that is the breakthrough. And so don't let all of this be discouraging. It's okay to feel overwhelmed and to be drinking through that fire hose, as you like to say. It will come in time. And I still myself am in that same position. I'm sure even Davis has times like that as well, even after all the years in the business.
I think that's one of the great things about being an agent and being in this real estate business is that you're always growing, always growing. For me, it's always about win-learn, right? There's no win-lose in life. It's a win-learn. If we learn and we grow and we take something away from even, one of what we consider one of our worst experiences or worst days, if it pushes us forward, like you say, through that breakthrough, or again, just enhances our knowledge, it makes us a better professional, it makes us a better human being. And again, it's a win-learn. Think of it that way. And I also want to say, if you ever hit a rock, and we all do from time to time, and you just need to vent or air out, come to your leadership and talk to us. Because we want to learn from your experiences too. Is there, more training that we could provide in a particular area? Can we learn to address something better in the market center to support you? And I'd rather have you vent at us than to take those problems home and vent on a family member or someone else who's meaningful in your life, who may not understand it anyway, because until you walk in the same shoes, it's hard to relate. But if we can ever support you, we're here for you emotionally and as well as, fiscally, and to help you, develop as an overall person. I think that's what, again, sets Keller Williams apart. And I've learned and grown so much, even through my existing position here, because the training that they have for us at every level is phenomenal. And so we're always willing to leverage anything that we have of value with all of you. So thank you for sharing, Melissa. Okay, so how will your behaviors be different moving forward? That's what I want to hear from everybody. What's everybody going to take from these trainings and implement into their own business? And it may be something as simple as hitting the ground running at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. every day instead of 10 a.m. realtor time. So tell me, what is there? Is there something that you've learned from these trainings that you will implement immediately?
Can I say something?
Please, yes.
After answering that question, I think it's crucial, or if you can't hold yourself accountable, I think team up with someone and hold each other accountable. Have you guys push each other to sort of, hey, okay, 9 to 10 o'clock, we're gonna cold call, and then 10 o'clock we're gonna talk to each other and see where we're at. So I think it's very, very crucial to have someone to sort of hold you accountable, to be able to implement all these things that we're learning.
Excellent. That is the winner. That's the winning answer. Accountability is huge. If you're going to produce activities, you have to have accountability. And so, we need to, I think, examine that a little bit, closer. We are going to have script practice, and we're going to have cold calling, or like I call them smile and dial, so they're warm calls, starting in April. And we're going to break that down into groups and pairs, so that we can have accountability partners. And then we'll shift, every few months we'll take a look at how everybody's doing, and then we'll, make the rounds so that everybody has an opportunity to work with a few people in the market center and see how it goes and see if it helps you grow. I know if we practice those scripts and we get really confident with in doing the things that other agents won't do to succeed, we will absolutely rise to the top. So that's what we want to help you do, because we know that it's going to add to the dynamic of your sales professionalism. So thank you for sharing, Davis. Anyone else want to share? Linda Haro, I'm excited that you already have your first farm going out. That is awesome.
Well, one thing that I've learned that I find is really, really important is like you said, hit the ground running. You can't sit back and, there's a lot of these training sessions and they do take time, but as soon as they're over, you need to get up and start moving or pick up the phone or whatever. I picked this farm because of Proposition 19 and how new it is and how it can benefit people my age and above. And so what I learned is you can't procrastinate. You have to just get up and go. And that's what I'm doing.
Fantastic. That is also a winning answer. And you're absolutely right. If you learn and you fail to implement, you're just not making any progress. So that's very important. And I think that you picked a winning title, Prop 19, or winning subject, because it is in the headlines. And it's probably going to be a very high search item in the near future in terms of people using the web. So I want to encourage you, when you create your post around Prop 19, that you make sure you use the hashtag Prop 19, and so that people can find it on the web when they're searching. It's going to be a topic of a lot of interest, or at least a lot of inquiry. And if you're out there producing content, writing articles, Facebook posts, making those public, it's going to come up in search. So good job. Well done. Okay, what tools, models, or systems will you definitely use, and how will they make you accountable? So Melissa, you talked a little bit about what you were using, the 411, and how now on your third Ignite, when you combined it with other classes, these systems and forms are starting to make sense to you, and you know how to implement them to actually develop a model for your business. What else has anybody else done anything similar? Or I hope that you're taking this information from Ignite and will pull the best items from these sessions to help you build and structure your business as a business. Melissa, will you share how you kind of made that come together?
Yeah, sure. The first thing I want to say is spend some time in the Ignite toolkit. Everything that we're talking about is in there. And like I said, I couldn't wrap my head around some of the 411 and the GPS. I was just having a really hard time with that. So after these classes, I started going on to KW Connect and or YouTube and watching videos of other agents as well, trying to get a grasp of it. Do you want to see it?
Sure.
Let me see if I can
Okay,
get it pulled up. Hold on.
I think I've got to add you here. So let me make you a co-host. That'd be fantastic.
Sure. Just getting it pulled up. Okay. All right. So let's see.
Well, I got to stop my share so you can do your share, I think.
Okay.
There you go.
Let me just get in the right place here. All right. I don't actually remember where I got this from. It was one of our classes. So one of the other things that I wanted to say I've implemented this year that I didn't do in previous years was I wanted to do more tracking. I don't know, I'm getting some kind of weird feedback.
You sound okay on our side.
Actually, there's
Hear that
someone
too.
that's talking and I can hear it.
You
It's
can hear
rather
that?
distracting. So someone needs to mute themselves.
Testing, testing. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's great. Perfect. Thank you. I think that was Virginia. Okay, so this is, I haven't started using this yet because I noticed that there's some of the calculations in here is off, but I'm gonna get those fixed. Mom's actually the one who found the issues with that. I created my own database tracker as well. And this is showing how much I have at the start of the month, the end of the month, the total that I added that month. My goal is 44 a month. Obviously, I haven't been doing great with that. I've been slacking. So I see how much I should have added, and then what my end month goal is to reach. And by the end of the year, I should have 633 if I follow this system. So this month, I'm going to be working very hard because I slacked the last 2 months, but I was still in the green. Then my 411. So here's my March 411. I have over here my little daily habits that I want to do in addition to my 411. I want to make sure I meditate, do my yoga, drink 64 ounces of water. My beauty stuff is just about taking care of my skin and my health and things like that. And then of course, Legion is there multiple times throughout my 411. I have here my annual goals broken down by not only how much money I want to make, but how many people I want to help. I find that thinking about it in terms of how many people I want to help is much more motivating to me than a dollar amount. Using the economic model, I found that I need to have at least 19 appointments to be able to get down to those 8 people. So I want to have 9 listing appointments, 10 buyer appointments, up to around 700 contacts in my command by the end of year. I want to understand my business better. This is part of the tracking that I was showing you before. And these are some projects that I had been brainstorming on that I want to just kind of bring into the world maybe. And then I break it down by month. So you can see here at the bottom, January, February, March, April. And at the end of each, or the beginning of each month, I will make the next month as well. And then I will change that month based on what I did the month before. So for example, here in week 1, I have market to Glenmore, which was where my last listing was. I had that on my 3rd week of the previous month and was unable to get to it. So it rolled over to the next month. And I have it right here around my appointments because it's part of the lead gen to get those 2 appointments. Each week I want to put 11 contacts in my database. I want to finish, I actually want to revamp and finish my buyer presentation, which is, I was waiting for Ignite for that because I know we do a deep dive in, I think it's the elements portion of this on having a great buyer presentation. And then here's my lead gen requirements for each week. And I have an or situation here. If I hit one of those, then I consider it a win. At the end of the month, I turn everything green that I accomplished, or I turn it green as I accomplish it. If I don't accomplish it, it gets turned yellow, and yellow gets moved to the next month. And my goal is to have, as the months move forward, to have less and less of these things to need to do. What would be great is if my goal is 11 contacts this week, but I pushed myself that first week and I got 22. Now I free up time here in the second week for either me time, family time, or to start implementing some of these projects up here, spending more time on these things that tend to take the back burner.
Outstanding. This is great. What a wonderful job you've done. Did you find these spreadsheets in the, I think Anna asked this same question. Did you find these spreadsheets in the toolkit or did you create these?
No, but where did I get these?
I guess what the question we really want to ask is, do you have a copy, a blank copy that you could provide or share with everybody?
I do not have a blank one, but I can copy this and remove my my information. I want to say this came from Leslie's class.
I'd love to have a template to
Sure.
share with everyone.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
of
put
course.
it into the yeah, I even love the fact that you've got the DTD2 in there.
What is DTD?
DTD2 is do the database too. So there is a, let me see if I can open that.
I
Here's
need to elaborate. Sorry, I don't really understand what's the 411 that everybody talking about.
Okay. I feel like we'll have to probably do a class on that. My understanding of the 411 is, you know, I'm not actually sure what the 411 stands for, but I just take my big goals right here for the whole year. And then my monthly goals that support the year goal. And then the 4 weeks out of the month, week 1, 2, 3, and 4 broken down. So I take each one and I break it down in order to get those and I also overdo it, right? So I only need 1 listing appointment and 1 buyer appointment for the entire month to reach my annual goal. But I break it down, I put that on each week. And if I don't get it this week, then I need to get it this week. If I don't get it this week, this one, and so on and so forth. And if I mess that all up, my goals the next month is going to be 2 up here. So it'll roll over. I think you should have a 411 in the toolkit, and I do believe that we go over that in Ignite. And let me see. So this is my, do you guys see my desktop?
No.
Okay, let me, so if I pull up this, you guys are still looking at my 411?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is the DTD2 schedule. Actually, maybe I should start. Like, I don't know where to start. There's so much. I created what I call my success plan for 2021. And my success plan has, if I were to just run down the list, it has my 411, my 411 lead generation and database trackers. It has my big why and my goals broken down from 5 years to 1 year to monthly to daily goals. I have my economic model and my GPS. Did I do anything with this yet? 1 second, it's opening. Yeah, okay. And then a GPS, still kind of wrapping my head around that. So I'll probably talk more about that when we cover it in Ignite. And then I have my lead generation activities, which Bob had talked about last week, I believe.
Do you have any key for all those abbreviations?
For
A in here and A, W, B, E, D, O.
Oh, this is just, yeah, so this is DTD2, and it's designed to where you will call your entire database every quarter. So there's 13, if you cut the alphabet in half, you would,
Oh,
or
it's
if
just
you,
by,
yeah,
it's by
so,
alphabet. So I thought it means something. It's just letters.
oh, no, I'm sorry. So this week, March 15th, I would call everyone in my phone whose last name started with a T and started with a J, or everyone in my database. And then next week would be I and Q. And I didn't understand why they chose certain letters before, but then someone had told me that just statistically that there are more names with certain letters than others. So they combined them to where you're going to not have 1 week be completely overwhelmed with every Bob and Joe in your phone. So, and it also kind of breaks it down here as well, which they didn't have that information last year. And they do a new schedule each year on KW Connect that you can just go there and in the search bar, just write DTD2. They have a informational video on how to do it, as well as that year's calendar.
Yeah, and if you do this, if you actually go into command and add a tag for these dates into command, then you can get notified, or you can add it to your tasks list pretty easily, so that you're making a certain number of calls so that you actually work through your entire database, you know, once a quarter, and into, so that you're touching people at least 4 times a year. The 411 and the GPS are all tracking tools in order for you to meet your goals. So for instance, with the 411, it's 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. So you can, you know, accumulate all of those, you know, sheets of paper with all of your notes and all of your goals. You basically transfer your business plan from your break it down into monthly or weekly and monthly activities, so that you can meet your goals at the end of the year. So that's what the 411 does. And then the GPS is goals, priorities, and strategies. So then you can take the 411 and then chunk it down even further to make sure that there's actually strategies and, you know, there's a plan in order to execute the goal. So they're all just training trackers that Keller Williams offers you. I just love to see what Melissa did, because she has it now all on paper, or digitized and on spreadsheets. So it makes it even nicer, so you don't have to have a bunch of loose pieces of paper all over the place.
I tried that before in a binder.
Yeah.
I had originally printed it all out in a binder, and I found I was making changes and then going and printing a new one. And I thought, oh my God, it's 2021. Just put it in your computer.
Yeah, this is
this is where it all started for me. I ran the economic model, what I would like this year, and then just ran the whole model. And then I used the information I got from here's also my stretch goal. I do both. I do my normal goal and my stretch goal. This is the one I'm shooting for. So if I land here, I will be very happy. But this is what told me I need my 19 appointments, how many appointments I need per month. And then I take this information and apply it to my 411.
So this is a very high level accountability, right? You're keeping yourself accountable. You have all your numbers down. You know what you want to earn. You know what it's going to take. You've come up with strategies on how you're going to achieve that, and then you've checked it down into monthly increments, or even weekly, monthly increments, so you can make your annual goals. Really well done, Melissa.
Thank you.
That's very impressive.
Isn't it impressive? And she's
Very.
and you've only been with KW for how long now?
It'll be 2 years this April.
2 years this April, and one of those full years was a COVID. So
yes,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that doesn't count. We got to take that period out. But thank you very much I know how hard you've worked on putting that together, and thank you for demonstrating that and sharing it with the team. And if you wouldn't mind sharing it with the rest of us, or send it to me, and then I can put it together in a Google folder, I would love to share that with everybody who attends Ignite. There should be, you know, some extra perks and benefits from showing up every day, and I think everybody would enjoy having that very much. So we've had some incredible offers this morning, between Davis, who's willing to, you know, help shadow you through some listing opportunities, and then Melissa's going to send us her amazing spreadsheets. Fantastic. Anything else you want to share, my dear, before we switch screens?
I think I mean, there's other things involved, but they're all things that we do cover and Ignite as we move forward.
Yeah, we will. In the next 2 weeks, we still got a lot to cover, so definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think you need to end your screen sharing so I can share, or did you end your screen sharing?
I ended it.
Okay, let's go back here.
There you go.
We're good. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 10-4. I don't know how many have heard about the 10-4 to set your career on fire. Is anybody doing the 10-4 model? Melissa, you must be doing the 10-4 model. Vasu, you're doing the 10-4 model. Good job, good job. So happy to hear that. Okay, so those that are not doing the 10-4 model, I really urge you to do so. I think this is probably one of the greatest takeaways from all of Keller Williams trainings because it's very simple to do. Anybody can do it from just about anywhere they're at, and it produces the most results. It's adding people to your contacts so that you can nurture them, develop relationships, and get into business. That is the whole purpose between for getting contacts into command. So you want to take and do 10 new contacts a day added to your command. You want to have 10 conversations about real estate with different and new people. You want to write 10 handwritten notes thanking somebody for something that they've done for you, or simply just introducing yourself or following up. It's just another touch that, in this high digital space is really shocking and surprising when you get a nice handwritten note. So you just would be, I know when I get handwritten notes, I'm just overwhelmed at the time that somebody actually took to do that. It's just really, really a great thing to do. And all incredible salespeople do it. And then 10 home previews per week. So about 2 a day on the home previews. And it's getting out there again and learning your inventory, right? You're in sales. You got to know your inventory, know your product. So again, 10-4, everybody should be doing it. Very, very simple. If you can, I bet your business will go up 20 or 30% annually just by doing these things every day. So please make note of that.
Oh, just one thing I must add. I changed because this seems very ambitious. I changed that to 10 contacts, 10 conversations, and 10 text messages per week, initially to keep me motivated. I haven't hit that target yet, but just trying to keep up with the practice.
This is something that's really encouraged through the bold training that we mentioned before, and text communication, especially if it's responded to. If you send out a text and you actually get a reply, then it's actually equivalent to a conversation. So if, Keller Williams understands now that everybody's high tech and everybody's using the tools of the 21st century. So I just try to make phone calls because I think it also helps us get into, makes the cold call a warm call, very quickly. And it just develops your confidence when you're on the phone over and over and having these same conversations, but with different people. So it's almost like creating little mini scripts. But yes, whatever it takes, if text, talk, whatever, just make sure that you're doing it and that you're making note of those conversations and making sure that you have every client's or every prospect's information. And the more detailed that you can be with contacts information, the better command will perform for you. So make sure that you have, and I'll talk from personal experience. Prior to texting becoming so popular, email campaigns and drip campaigns were the boss, right? Everybody was doing them. And so for a good, at least 10-year period of time, we were in a culture where emails were gold. And now it turns out that the new oil is texting. And so now everybody switched to texting. And guess what happened when they got, when texting became popular, people forgot to ask people for their email address, or worse yet, didn't ask them for their mailing address. And command performs at its peak and becomes the most or delivers the best predictable analytics when you have the client's full name, their mailing address, their phone number, and their email. So if you can get all of those things, you're going to rank higher in terms of your contacts, and you'll get much better analytics from command. All right, scripts. Well, scripts we know: lead generate, uncover motivations, identify objections, close deals, speak in terms that customers understand. and build confidence. That's what they all help do. Now, one item that I want to highlight, because I think the others are very obvious, but speak in terms that customers understand. And this is particularly important even when you create written collateral. Sometimes I see people use industry terms like the acronym COE. If you're in the business, then you know that COE means close of escrow. But if you are not in the business, the average consumer does not know what COE means. Or if you haven't sold a home in 5 to 7 years, you may easily forget what COE is. So think of, avoid using acronyms at all times, avoid using acronyms in conversations, avoid using acronyms when you're posting online, and just take an extra few minutes to educate your consumers. And also you'll come up in better search when you use the full, spelling of words. I think that would help tremendously. And again, we will go into scripts. We know what scripts do. The faster we learn them and the greater speed by which we memorize them, it trains our brain to respond automatically and to systemize and organize information in our brain that could be better consumed and makes a better deliverable to the person that we're addressing. So look forward to more information on scripts soon. And normally, if we had an extra 3 hours, we would do roll script plain, but in this case, we do not. And I'm going to hit just for a moment on the do not call list in the registry. And the reason being is that, we just talked about the number of people that are using text, and texts are also, the same applies in the do not call list. If someone says stop, it's stop, you remove them from your text. Right now, there is a class action lawsuit among some very large players in the real estate industry. And the lawsuit is actually being pursued as a cultural problem in the industry, that there's a lack of concern and a lack of sharing that the do not call list must be observed. So if you've noticed, every single training that we've had lately always addresses the do not call. So again, it's not to discourage you from doing appropriate cold calling and making sure that you have lists that you've either purchased and have been vetted against the do not call list, or it's again your personal contacts and sphere of influence, or you've had some type of opt-in campaign going where you're asking for subscribers to give you their contact information. If someone subscribes in to one of your campaigns, you are allowed to call them and engage, and also if you are engaging in business. But otherwise, just be aware. If somebody tells you stop, or I'm on the do not call list, you just respectfully say, thank you, I'm so sorry to interrupt your day, and thank you for your time, and hang up, and call it a day, and then scrub them from your list immediately. So we just want to always convey that. Lead gen and calling scripts, we would do that for another hour if we had time, and then update contacts and follow up. I think what we can take away from this is we should be doing real play, and that means we should focus some of our time on lead generation and calling with scripts each and every day. So make sure that you're those are the big takeaways that you should be receiving from Ignite, is making sure that you are which activities lead to business and profitability for you, and so focus on getting them on your calendar on a daily basis. And of course, update contacts and follow up. I think more business is lost in a lack of follow-up than is procured through new lead generation daily. I really think that all salespeople need to work on making sure that they master follow-up. And getting help, using command and connecting to get help. Has everybody here at least gone into command and KW Connect? I know we've got a few new people, but has everybody had an opportunity to go in there and take a look around? Anybody who's a newbie to Command or Connect?
I'm newbie.
Is that you, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, you're in for an absolute treat. So let me start and preface this conversation by saying that Command was in beta until the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, everyone decided to jump on because they had some excess time available. And so they're getting in there and they're really breaking the system. But that's what you need with technology. Technology is experimental in its development. And so the more people that use it and the more bugs that they recognize or features that they feel are relevant and important to their business, the better the system will get. So, but it is a very robust system. And in our last conference, which was this past February, when we had a family reunion. Keller Williams has 2 annual or semi-annual conferences, and one is family reunion and the other is mega camp in the late summer. Gary Keller pledged to spend the next 66 days improving the platform with the features that already exist before they turn the fire hose back on and add more. So it is a very robust system. It was a very, very aggressive undertaking by Keller Williams. Gary Keller pledged and has invested $1 billion with a B out of his own money to fund this opportunity. And what Command is the first end-to-end platform in real estate that I'm aware of, that it's all written and coded on one platform as opposed to having multiple apps. Every other company that I'm aware of is just a collection of different apps. And so it's very difficult to program at a very high level when it's not written in one particular platform. And that's the KW advantage. And that's why Facebook gives us a boost in the algorithm, because they've created code that applies to our ads only, that gives us a better outcome in the algorithm. So our ads will be seen more frequently. And we were also able to negotiate a discount with Facebook because we represent 25% of the industry. So Gary Keller is a very shrewd and incredible businessman. He knew that he had a very large percentage of the market share. And he went to Facebook and he actually negotiated with Facebook for those discounts. And he had to do so by guaranteeing a number of ad sales per month. So Keller Williams actually pre-purchases ad space from Facebook to honor that agreement and that discount. And then when you put your credit card onto the platform to place your ads, you're actually repurchasing them from Keller Williams. So Keller Williams has put up the upfront monies so that you're guaranteed to get a lower price per lead and to get better visibility online. So you really have some value here. The number of training videos on Connect are profound. You can find something for everything. If you want to do a first-time home buyer seminar, if you want to find out how real estate is done in a different state. I mean, there are so many listing presentations examples, buyer presentation examples. You can go in there and you can spend hours, as many hours as you're spending cruising the internet for other things. You can spend an abundant amount of time into Connect. And they also have training videos by the company's top producers, and people do it very strategically. Once you go into Command, and Command's the other part of the platform where you actually run your business. Command is where the CRM lives. It'll be where you put all your contacts, establish your tags, and set up your smart plans. Now, smart plans are a library that was created within Command that was populated with over 2,000, I believe, or 2,300 and counting smart plans that were created by top producers in the company that are all being leveraged with you. So you can go in there and find something that's very specific to your needs. Again, first-time home buyers, investors, perhaps out-of-state owners. You can really get down to a micro level. And you can, if you find a smart plan that suits your goals and needs, and then it could be, you know, there's some simple standard ones like connecting with someone on their birthday. If you have your client's birthday and you can add it in there, there's like a 4-touch campaign just to wish somebody happy birthday. You know, you first, you know, give them a phone call a couple weeks before their birthday and say, hey, it's your birthday month. What are your plans? You know, and as the date gets closer, you will do a social post, a text, and you'll be prompted to do all of these things. They're all going to be set it and forget it if you, you know, put the smart plan together and customize it for your use. It's a great way to get your time back by having all of your touches systematized. So can't say enough about it. You just got to get in there and play with it. And it does have some glitches from time to time. So don't panic if you put some contacts in there and then 3 hours later you don't go in and you see them. They usually reappear the next time you log in or refresh. They're just working on the platform to make it better and stronger. But it is by far the best that I have seen in all of the years I've been in the industry. And then the intranet on on KW, and that's what's called Connect. That's really the learning institution. It's the university, Keller Williams University. So in addition to all of the market center training that you receive through our offices, you have, I mean, the world of real estate at your hands on KW Connect. It's very common that they run amazing live streams with Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, Jason Abrams. These are very high level execs at KW, and every time I hear them speak, I learn like a ton. So I look for those names, and if they're speaking, I'm listening. And if I can't watch it, you know, live, then I make sure I go back and look at the on-demand recordings. There's just so many resources and assets there. You'll never have a dull moment while you're at KW. Again, cannot encourage you enough to get in there and play with Command, get your contacts in there. The sooner you do that and you use smart plans, the better off you will be. It will give you your time back. You'll be able to systemize and automize a great deal. And then Connect is that absolute gem for you to find resources and make connections with agents throughout the country. So what I often do, I get a lot of inquiries from agents and say, Hilda, I want to send a referral out and I need a referral for somebody in Las Vegas, or I'm looking for somebody in, you know, Tennessee. And so there's a great way to look at the migration patterns on KW Command. So that's one way to leverage the system also in terms of generating income for yourself. But what I like to do is I also like to, I truly like to work from people who are with people who come from contribution. So I'll go over to the smart plan section and I'll also look at Connect, and I'll just do a search within those platforms to see where this agent appears. And there are some agents who have become so savvy with both platforms that they will go in and they will create assets that they are using in their own business, and they'll leverage them with you, so you don't have to create the wheel. And in high tech, R&D usually means research and development, and at Keller Williams it means rip off and duplicate. So they want you. They don't want you to spend your time reinventing anything that's already been done and proven. So I go in and do search, and I find out if these people have created assets that they're sharing and leveraging with the greater Keller Williams community, because it says to me something about their character. One, that they're smart and they're looking for referral business and they're going out and just paying life forward. And two, that they're willing to help, their fellow Keller Williams associates be successful as well. So they've got success mindset, and they're willing to really pay life forward. So there's a little bit of insight there. And so Anna, I really hope that you get in there this weekend and have some fun with it. You'll really enjoy it.
Oh, well, definitely. It feels overwhelming amount of information, and I want to do it all. So I need to break it. Need to break it down.
Yeah, the worst part, you will want to do it all. And it becomes an issue of, you almost feel like you're Netflix binging, right? You're on that, you're going to want to learn more and more and more and see all these videos, but it's very inspiring. And I really want to encourage, folks, that sometimes you're looking for, a way to start your day with affirmations. And I'm a big believer in that. As salespeople, we got to have that psyche and that mindset pumped up and ready to go. And sometimes it's as easy as going to KW Connect and finding a video that from one of our leaderships, high-level executive leaders, that just will paint a different picture, because they always come from a life lesson. And that's what I really love. So whatever it is that I'm working on, whatever I'm trying to problem solve, I can find a solution in their stories, because they're coaching moments. And if you take advantage of KW, and if you really think of what this costs, the both KW Connect and KW Command, along with all of your other technology, your mobile app, your website, your KW email, all of that is $35 a month. I mean, there's no other subscription that you can get that will ever measure up to that. You get a free DocuSign account. If you go into and connect all the different apps that they have available, free MailChimp, free EmailJet, there's just a ton of apps that you can connect that bring you so much value. Yeah, you will go nuts. Just be careful. Time block even for us when you're surfing KW Command
Yeah.
and
Okay.
KW Connect.
Thank you so much.
You're
I'm
welcome.
gonna try and cold call. We got me inspired.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. Do the cold calling. It's what other people will not do. And what other people will not do, and if you do it, you'll spring forward so much faster. And again, it's proven, and yet people won't do it. But that's why we have, very few people that reach Stephen Curry's success, with the Warriors, or why you see there's only one Michael Jordan. There's only going to be a few people who rise to the top because they do things that others won't. Create your success list. Here, write down a list from the observations that you've made in Ignite. Create an action list, and then schedule or give it a priority, so that you can have this checklist of what you've learned, so that you know that your time was well spent, and that you have this great accountability piece. Because with learning without implementation is just not as effective, or it won't provide the results that you really want from these lessons, and for what we want for you. The reason that we organize these trainings is because we want you to succeed. Again, you're in great hands. You're in a culture with people like Davis and others, and other professionals that want to see you succeed. We've had so many people come on the line today and offer their assistance. Rick Barang was willing to help, and he offered his assistance. Melissa did the same. So take advantage of that. You are in very, very good hands. And with that, I am going to have to call it a day, because we have a live training that is going to happen next in the Market Center, and we're just a few minutes away from that as well. So thank you all for your patience. I know it's been a long morning, but thank you all very much. We are so excited and delighted to be in business with you. And again, if there's anything at all that we can do for you, reach out. We're here to help you, and cannot wait to see the great successes that you all become. Anything else for the good of the order?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Be well.
Thank you, Hilda. It was a great session.
Awesome. Have a good one. Davis, thank you very much. Amazing. Thank you to everybody for
Thank you,
joining us.
Davis.
Thank you for investing the time in your business. Let's keep that networking up, and I can't wait until we're back together in real life opportunities, because I'm telling you, the best is yet to come. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.